Quasar.
So I said, if you're not prepared to go to prison, if you're not prepared to sacrifice your life, you're in the wrong line of work.
So I used to watch this YouTuber by the name of Broe, specifically around the time of 2022 when the Ukraine war broke out. And he was one of those YouTubers that would give daily updates on the war, and I really found myself fascinated at his description of what was going on. But over the past couple of years, I found myself branching away from his content. But I found myself wondering, what was this guy up to over the past couple of years? So I went over to his channel and I found this one video, and I'm not gonna lie, I watched a portion of it and this is just L take after L take. I honestly can't believe I used to listen to this guy talk like every day, and it's kind of embarrassing honestly, but I thought it'd be pretty interesting if we just watch this video and basically fact check it as we went along. So let's get it started.
Next question, what is your take on Trump implementing many of the core points of Project 2025 already? And how will this affect the U.S. government long term, but specifically in relation to NATO, our allies, Ukraine, and democracy as a whole? Thanks, Jake. Love your work. Together, U.S. Americans stand with Ukraine. This all kind of ties in with all the previous questions and this new America that I'm living in and all of our allies have to put up with. But Project 2025... Donald Trump is willing to do anything his base wants, and then if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't stick, he doesn't care. So it's The Handmaid's Tale.
So if you guys are like me and don't know what the hell The Handmaid's Tale is, let me just read you the overview of what this movie is. A totalitarian society in what used to be part of the United States, Gilead is ruled by a fundamentalist regime that treat women as property of the state and is faced with environmental disasters and a plummeting birth rate. In a desperate attempt to repopulate a devastated world, the few remaining fertile women are forced into sexual servitude. Where in America do you see anything I just described being played out? I find it so weird how even during and before the election, people were so hell-bent on, oh, he's going to take away this and that right. Oh, women are going to lose their rights. What rights have women lost so far?
This is the headline this morning. Morning after pill ban proposed by Republicans. So now that Bobby Kennedy is in charge of the Department of Health and Human Services, things are going to get weird. Like vaccines are going to be outlawed and Mountain Dew is going to be taken off the shelves. Like,
get a load of this guy, bro. Things are about to get weird. So the past couple of years, nothing's been weird, guys. It's all been real, natural, normal, nothing to see here. First of all, RFK is not going to be banning any vaccines. If you were actually competent and actually did your own research and actually just weren't trying to be biased, you know that RFK just wants to inform people on the side effects of vaccines and really just put the knowledge into the parents' hands rather than just blindly taking something and putting it into your body. No one's trying to take away your vaccines, but if you want to take a vaccine, you could take it, but you shouldn't be forced into taking vaccines like people were in 2020. And just to show you how biased this person is being, let me show you the raw, unedited clip of RFK and his take on vaccines.
Are there specific vaccines that you would seek to take off the market?
No, I'm not gonna take away anybody's vaccines. I've never been anti-vaccine.
You will not take any vaccine that is currently on the market.
I'm not. If vaccines are working for somebody, I'm not going to take them away. People ought to have a choice, and that choice ought to be informed by the best information. So I'm going to make sure the scientific safety studies and efficacies are out there, and people can make individual assessments about whether that product is going to be good for them.
Would that include COVID vaccines that are currently on the market?
I want the best science for every vaccine.
It is part of that. During the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, you were questioning the FDA and calling them out for approving the emergency authorization of the COVID vaccines. If you had been in charge of the FDA at that time, would you have blocked the authorization of the COVID vaccines, like you were suggesting publicly?
What I was saying at that time is the vaccines are not going to prevent transmission, which they were telling the public that they would. They were saying, you need to take this vaccine in order to protect grandma. I knew in May of 2020 that the vaccines were not going to protect against transmission because I was actually reading the monkey studies then.
But you would not have told the FDA. You would not have told the FDA to block the authorization of the
I would have
vaccine.
been honest with the American people.
And so you wouldn't have blocked it.
I would have been honest with the American people now.
So you wouldn't have blocked it.
I wouldn't have directly blocked it. I would have made sure that we had the best science, and there was no effort to do that at that time.
There are some things in Project 2025 that even I could support. I'm for government becoming more efficient and potentially government workers being more accountable. Like, I don't oppose common sense ideas, but this is a radical redefinition of America that's happening. Something that I think a lot of Americans don't believe is going to happen, or they're just not paying attention and they're not going to recognize that things have changed dramatically until they're irreversible, until it's going to be a lot harder to go back. So specifically in relation to NATO and our allies, Project 2025, from what I was hearing about it, more has to do with domestic issues, less about international partners. But this anti-woke, anti-DEI philosophy that is the core of Project 2025, the United States wants to impose this on everyone else. So if you're woke in Canada or woke in Europe, then the United States is going to attack you, and they're going to bully you, and they're going to use all military and economic pressure imaginable to stop you from being woke or diverse or equitable or inclusive.
So how can this grown man say that trying to push this anti-woke view is bullying, when for the past couple of years, even more than 4 years, I could probably say all the way back to the Obama administration in my lifetime, there has been this push for wokeness, and yet no one seems to be recalling when people didn't like that, when people didn't want all these changes happening around their lives. And it wasn't a problem then, but now when we get this new administration that goes in a different path, following the will of the people, now it's seen as bullying.
The United States will not respect your sovereignty. They will take their culture wars and their political fights to your country. They're not going to leave it just in the United States. This is not an American first policy. It's about imperialism.
So how can he say this, but at the same time we've donated around $200 billion towards Ukraine? And mind you, Zelensky himself has came out and said $100 billion of that has not arrived yet, or maybe it has been misplaced. So how is that America first? Have you voted towards sending $200 billion towards Ukraine, or would you rather have that spent in the United States, maybe developing jobs, trying to fight the homelessness problem? Don't give it to California though, they don't know what to do with the money. Or actually just maybe fixing potholes in your freaking community. It's just so ridiculous to say that these policies are America first when everyone has eyes and can see. This is nothing about this is America first. If you really wanted America first policies, you would withdraw all aid from Ukraine. We're the furthest away from the conflict. We should have a neutral stance in this. The people in Europe should have the most funding going into Ukraine if they really care so much about their democracy.
And I'm going to play this clip from Trump advisor Steve Bannon, because I don't think Americans understand how politics has changed. I'm just going to play the first couple seconds of this clip. These are Steve Bannon, Trump's advisor's own words about the current state of American politics.
They will send you to prison, or in Trump's case, and I've warned about this, assassination. So I said, if you're not prepared to go to prison, if you're not prepared to sacrifice your life, you're in the wrong line of work. This is all-out political warfare between two sides of the United States that can't stand each other. Each side thinks we're barbarians. We think they've destroyed the country. We think they're dangerous. They think that we're beyond dangerous.
So that is Steve Bannon saying American politics is now a blood sport. It's a death match. It's a fight to the death, because they think America is at stake, that if they don't defeat the woke left in the United States, then we don't have a country anymore. Now, me, as a military officer who served for 6 years under 3 different US presidents, that's delusional. That's insane. America's doing fine. But this is the epic good versus evil battle that the right in America has believed themselves into, and they're willing to imprison people. They're willing to kill people to never let the left ever win another free and fair election ever again.
This guy is no cap, a 10 out of 10 rage baiter. So does anyone remember how many times they tried to impeach Trump? or that time they sent him to jail. You know, there's a mugshot of Trump right now, right? You can just go look it up. Or, you know, that time they tried to kill him like a couple months ago, or maybe the time they tried to do it again a couple weeks after the first time. But yeah, the Republican Party is the one trying to threaten elections. This guy is so delusional. I actually can't comprehend it, bro. Like, he's either got to be on someone's payroll or he's actually just lost in the sauce. And first of all, America is not doing fine. How can you say that when we literally just had a border crisis, inflation is through the roof, and there seems to be no emergency funds for disasters in the United States, but we can send how many billions to foreign nations? This guy is a goofball, bro. Like, I actually don't know what to say.
I know what I'm saying to you, if you're an American citizen, sounds shocking and horrifying.
Nope, this kind of sounds delusional and out of touch with reality, but keep going.
But this is the language of Steve Bannon. This is the language of Trump's highest-ranking government officials.
No one elected Elon Musk to nothing. Elon Musk is a Nazi nutball, baby. Take your foot off my neck. We'll fight back. Fight back. Fight back. And as I close out, because I know we've been out here for a long time, and goddamn it, shut down the city. We are at war.
This is a war they've declared on anyone who does not conform to their ideas and beliefs. We are no longer a pluralist society that is capable of having dissent or differing opinions.
After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote non-stop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact-checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US.
The next 4 years, Elon Musk and Donald Trump will use every power available to them in the federal government to crush and destroy all opposition. There will not be free and fair elections according to them, that's their plan, in 2026 or 2028. So, with the legislative branch being destroyed, the only remaining obstacle is the judicial branch. And Elon Musk is doing that every day. Every day, Elon Musk is now tweeting about corrupt judges, partisan judges, unconstitutional judges. These judges are terrible. You hate judges. Judges need to go away. Judges are opposing democracy and resisting the will of the people. This is what he is tweeting multiple times a day. These are software updates for the bots, for the MAGA trolls, getting their daily update from Elon Musk. Who do we hate today? Who do we need to destroy today?
Last night, Kamala mentioned my name, I think, 21 times. She didn't mention the border. She didn't mention inflation. She didn't mention anything but my name over and over and over again. She blamed me for the border. I haven't been there in 4 years. You saw it. I had the safest border, the best border we've ever had.
It's horrifying, guys. I'm just being an observer and watching this happen. The next thing is freedom of speech. Elon Musk is being pretty bold. He thinks if he just controls all the tech platforms, he can control the algorithms and control how people feel and what they think.
I'll take a bit of umbrage here. I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress. But they are not serious.
But people still have freedom of speech.
We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content. The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down. We're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas. As we work to promote free expression, I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our team.
And when you feel like your freedom of speech is being restricted or attacked or controlled, There's nothing that pisses off Americans more than that.
Damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. Obviously, Donald Trump and I think that there were problems in 2020. We've talked about it. I'm happy to talk about it further. But you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater.
Non sequitur. There is no logic.
That's the test. That's the Supreme Court test.
Tim, fire in a crowded theater. You guys wanted to kick people off of Facebook for saying that toddlers shouldn't wear masks.
Senator, the governor does have the floor.
Fire in a crowded theater. That is criticizing the policies of the government, which is the right of every American.
Senator, the governor does have the floor for 1 minute to respond to you.
Yeah, well, I don't run Facebook.
And Donald Trump and Elon Musk used that to their advantage when Biden was president. But now they're going to have strong headwinds going in the other direction on this issue. Culture is going to reject it. And we saw this on display at the Super Bowl. I'm not going to make too big of a deal about this. I don't think Kendrick Lamar was trying that hard. But in response to MAGA, in response to this election and the abolishment of DEI, the world's best rapper.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Put on a halftime show with no white people. And there was a lot of symbolism there, open to interpretation. There was a scene with the American flag. They quoted 40 acres and a mule. This is subversion. And Donald Trump was at the Super Bowl. Apparently he left during the halftime show, probably for transportation reasons, but this was a message from the counterculture, which is currently organizing.
Bro, this guy is so lost in the sauce. What is he talking about? First of all, I'm pretty sure like a major part of that Super Bowl performance was Kendrick getting back at Drake, which I don't even think this guy has any clue about.
Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably a minor.
And on top of that, what is he trying to say about Trump at the halftime show? If I remember correctly, Trump got a standing ovation when he was shown on camera, while Taylor Swift, who endorsed the Democratic Party, got a large amount of boos. Why isn't he talking about that, but he's going to bring up a halftime show and just start drawing random conclusions that no one else is drawing?
And Americans love to revolt. Americans love to protest. I know in the first 3 weeks, everyone is screaming, why aren't Americans doing anything? And it's coming. I guarantee you, the protests and the rioting is coming. And the Me Too movement in 2017, the Black Lives movement, 2018, 19, 20.
Fuck. Ready to talk? Eat shit!
100 million to Black Lives Matter.
No, not those people! Fuck you! Fuck you! No, wait.
This was in response to Donald Trump. Unarmed black men were being shot by white cops under President Obama. And we didn't see any Black Lives protests. But as soon as Donald Trump was elected, then people took to the streets.
So as you can tell by now, this guy's pretty delusional and out of touch, but I kind of wanted to end the video by showing you a video of Biden back in 2016 speaking on a Ukrainian judge who was investigating his son Hunter Biden, who apparently was receiving around $3 million from a gas company, which the judge had found out, but I guess Biden didn't want anyone to find out, so he got him fired.
I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
Huh, I guess some people are above the law. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. I just couldn't believe the bullshit this guy was spewing, and I just had to get my 2 cents on the situation. And remember, folks, stay educated.